We're back, Habibi. If you're feeling burnout about Palestine and wondering if you're doing enough, or spiraling between advocacy guilt and total emotional shutdown, you're not alone. That's literally why this podcast exists. This episode is a safe space to let all those messy, conflicting thoughts out, no clean answers required. And somehow we go from that to White Lotus, equal pay for women actors, and debating which season brought the most chaos. Are you the kind of person who watches for the drama or analyzes every character's childhood trauma? Let's get into it.
We're on 11.
We're on 11.
What is going on today?
What is going on? I'm so excited. I'm just like ready for the trip. So yesterday I started packing and everything. I told my husband I'm gonna say that to Amel today, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." Um, and then like lunchtime today, he was like, "Oh, I bought snack bars that he's gonna bring with him, um, so that we can have in between meals if we got hungry in Lebanon." Cracked out laughing. I was like, last trip you were complaining about the overfood.
There's no way.
That you're gonna be eating snack bars from the US when you're in Lebanon, and we both started laughing about it. It's like, do not mention it.
You
But
were
here
like,
we are.
opening
Uh,
sentence, let's mention it.
yeah, I just need to get it out of my way. So yeah, I'm just excited. I'm just like ready. Yesterday I started packing. Actually, I packed everything. Like literally, I'm just like checked out. I'm just like ready to be on a plane and just like get the fuck out.
I'm
So
excited for you guys.
that's what's going on in my life. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so ready. Like every day, so excited. We bought Tushy, you know what that is? The thingy that you put for your like a bidet.
It's like like a portable one or something?
Yeah. No. Like the ones that you just plug into like your bathroom, like your
Yeah,
toilet
yeah,
seat.
yeah.
So, because like over here, it's not a thing. Like you don't have it in your. I mean, I grew up with one like in our house because like that's kind of the thing in the Arab world. So yeah, those are the two major things, I guess, in my life. What about you?
I got nothing. I feel kind of ready. I'm like in a rut situation. Which I think is a good thing. Like I think it's a privilege to be like kind of like I don't feel like much right now. I've been trying to jump back into like keeping up with what's going on with the news and stuff to see if I could like double dutch my way into advocacy, but like I kind of have no idea where to jump in or what to say. So that's where my brain has been.
I mean, it is a lot. Like a friend of mine, literally just like past week, I just saw him post about it today. Like he was hospitalized because it was like too much stress. Um, but like he works in like the news industry and whatnot. But it was just like it's just too much right now. Like I don't know if people are keeping up with it. So from everywhere, it's just coming at us. And I think that's why I'm like ready to just like check out and just like be on vacation mode. Like I'm ready to die. If I die, whatever happens, happens. Like I'm just like gonna go vacation. Like I'm done.
Like that.
Blow this up. I'm not here.
I'm starting to just get a little scared. Like I saw a story today from, do you know that like traveling nurse Lex or whatever? That's like her, whatever. First of all, I think she's beautiful. I know I shouldn't focus on that. Like she's talking about real world news, but I'm always like, oh my God. Um, no, she was saying they had like deported somebody to El Salvador. You know how they were like making them do slave labor or something, and then they found out that like he was an actual citizen, and then Trump was like, "Yeah, well, I'm not really gonna bring him back." And the president of El Salvador,
Too
yeah,
bad.
and the president was like, "And I'm not sending him back." Apparently, was Trump was on a hot mic and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go after homegrowns next." And I'm like, "Homegrowns?" She took it as like that means like U.S. citizens. But I'm wondering if it means like people who've been here for like 20, 30 years and but like still aren't. But anyway, I just feel like we're edging closer and closer to Handmaid's Tale and trying to figure out like what is the sign? And we don't have to get too far into like the politics today, but I'm just wondering what is the sign that tells me personally or like you, like it is time to get off of the land here because it is dangerous to be here. You know, kind of like during the Holocaust, there were like families that were like, it's time to get the hell out of here, and they escaped right before the Nazis came and like, took them all to concentration camps. And like I have like a colleague with that exact story. Like her grandmother knew to get them the hell out of Dodge, and like they did, and the next week like everything was taken. So anyway, I'm just like, what's the sign? What's the sign?
Honestly, I have friends who lives all over the world, like France, Belgium, and everywhere. And like I did go last year and visited them, and talking with each one of them separately, everybody has something to complain about and wherever they're
Yeah.
at. So a part of me is kind of accepting, like, like my cousin is from Australia, and I was looking up Australia. I was like, it's not that progressive over there. Like they're doing the same shit too. People in Canada, I was like, a socialist. Like that's better for the economy, like that's what I was thinking like we should have in the US. And people are complaining over there, like, takes us like 12 months to get even a doctor appointment. Like, I could die before even getting a doctor appointment. Belgium, like, they're fighting, they have it split like north and south, like people who speak Dutch versus people who speak French. It's just like every country has like their own thing that is like they're going about. So I guess my point is, it sounds to me like every country is going through whatever they're going through. Like I just saw protests in like forgot whichever country. Did you see that? They were like down in the streets, like protesting, like trying to flip over the government. It was like some European country. I think a part of it is the news
Mm,
and a part of it is just reality. But even if we decide to leave, where to go? Where am I gonna go? Because literally all the other countries that I keep hearing people like you should go
mm-hmm,
there, people have other things to worry about. I mean, maybe it is more extreme right now where we're at here compared to other countries, but I mean, you saw how the Palestine thing is treated everywhere. So depends on where you're at.
mm-hmm,
You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of racism against Muslims and Arabs in France, for example, or UK or Germany. Where are we going? Back to Lebanon? Hell no. I'm not.
Guess attend them.
Where are
Like
we
I don't
going?
know.
Where are we going?
That's it. That's the episode title. Where are we going?
Where
That's
are
a
we
great
going?
freaking question. You're right. Like I don't even. I guess that's the first. That's the first thing that needs to be answered. Like, is there somewhere safer that I even can get into? Right. Um.
Yeah.
Then look for the sign that it's time to take my go bag and go. But like, you're right. Right now, all I have plans for is a zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't really have the Handmaid's Tale plan ready to go.
I mean, I think we talked about this, you and I, during the election time, where we're both debating who do we vote for, right? Do we choose the best out of the worst options, or do we just say like, no, fuck the system, I'm just gonna choose what is, better for my morals or whatnot? And my biggest concern at that point is what exactly is happening right now, um, and how it was horrible what was happening back then under like the Biden administration for like Palestinians in Palestine specifically. But what is happening now, it's literally affecting us even here. So how do I even support people there if I can't even, I'm barely trying for myself here. You know what I mean? Like I just saw a video today. This guy was going for his citizenship interview and then he was just taken by
Yeah.
ICE. Like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
they set up a fake
Like, can
interview.
you
It
imagine?
wasn't that he was going for his actual citizenship. They set up a fake interview so they could catch him. His name is Mohsen Mahdawi.
It's just crazy. It's hard. I don't even know honestly what to make out of it. A part of me is in denial, if I'm being honest, just to, get through the day. All I keep reminding myself is to do as much and help as much as I can with my small circle that I can. Um, the other thing I was telling my husband about our conversation, you and I, how we're like struggling with like the bigger picture of like especially for you, let's say in advocacy about Palestine and like how do I get back to like still pursue my life, my career, and like still feel that burden and that guilt about what that cause that is happening and whatnot. But then I told them, I think for us, just our existence is the resistance by itself. So me thriving and just going on with life and being able to help my small community that is around, and that is like my family or friends that are Middle Eastern or non-Middle Eastern, regardless who it is, because a lot of people are like struggling right now. In my smallest circle, like that's as much as I can do. I guess extended circle, that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, right? I think a part of it is just us being in service for people who might find hope or it's okay, Habibi, at the end of the day, of whatever they're going through, because I bet someone is relating. I was just talking to my cousins too, and they said that like they were listening to our last episode and like they both were saying like they teared up hearing your part of the story when you were mentioning how you didn't feel that you deserved the help to get from your
Mm-hmm.
sister.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin was like, "Oh my God, like I fucking do that too. Like this is so fucking sad that we do this to ourselves." But what I'm saying is that I am getting a lot of comments and feedback from people saying that what we're doing has been really helpful in those areas. And I think that's what I try to convince myself at least every day is like, hey, I'm really literally doing my best right now. I mean, other than literally taking a flight and just go to Palestine and be there, like I don't know what else I can do. Or even over here, like it's just scary. Like we're talking in general, anywhere. I'll stop here.
I think it's valid. But what?
Nothing. Go
I
ahead.
think what you said is valid. It's just like you said, that survivor's guilt, that like that also not just survivor's guilt, but also that yearning to like actually enjoy the one life you have, and then realizing that like, well, yeah, you get to enjoy it because you're not there or suffer. So anyway, the back and forth and the whatever, and so it's like I think I am doing the least I can do by just existing, which is still important that we do, right? Like joy is resistance. And I think I need to be a little bit more involved. I think like 6 months ago or 7 months ago, I cannot believe it's been going on this long that we're over it. Like we're 2 years in October, right? But I needed, I could have named every single person that got taken, every journalist that died, all of the major news updates. Like I knew them on a daily basis. And I think right now I don't. And that to me is like showing me that improvement is needed. It doesn't need to be that I need to be able to go on CNBC and be a pundit, but I do at least need to know the updates of the week, like what has happened. That's it. That's what I'm going to hold myself
Can I
accountable to.
can I pause you here for a second? I heard you a lot saying that I have to, I could do better. And I think that's like really good. You and I know that it's been a little bit of a rough patch of couple weeks for you in that sense, personally. So it's not like you've been living here like in the butterfly world and like everything is happy. So sometimes like if we can't really take care of ourselves and get our life in shape, it's so hard. Like one of the biggest lessons that someone told me when I was like struggling when I moved to the US with I need to help my family back in Lebanon financially, but I was like literally so struggling because I was living off of like $30,000 salary. I was like, I can't even pay my rent. And I still like was like, but they can't live over there and they're waiting on my money. And a friend of mine said, like, if you are drowning, like everybody will drown with you. You need to save yourself first, get on that ship so that you can then start, saving them one after the other. Same thing in plane. They tell you like put the oxygen on your face first before your kids, because otherwise, like you're not gonna make it. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I think you are carrying a little bit more of a burden of like I could do better, I should do better, but literally like you're going through a lot anyway. So
I know, but like, I also think that in comparison to the life I grew up in, I'm not going through a lot. Like, my life before my parents died was like actually much fucking harder. And now, like, okay, so remember how
that's a trauma response. That's exactly what we do. That's exactly a woman who is raped who would say like, but it compared to the big ski. No, we're not doing that.
I hear you, I hear you. I think, like, I guess
Compare.
what I care about is a lot of everything. But, when I went to dinner last week and then somebody said something that I didn't like, and then my sister caught my face and she immediately jumped in and was like, don't talk to my sister that way. And like the thing wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even bad. It's just like I took it away. And she picked that up so quickly and like jumped in for me. And granted, like I am somebody who knows how to speak up for myself, but in that moment, there's so much that like a sibling can intuit or someone who's known you forever. And she knew I wasn't going to do it in that moment. So she did it. And like I still think about how safe I felt in that moment that like she spoke up for me and, kind of just set the tone for everyone that was present. Like she's never alone. And, in a way, I do connect that to Palestine. Because imagine being a child in Palestine or a journalist in Palestine and seeing somebody who used to speak up a lot not speak up anymore. And you just need them to speak up. And it's not because someone said something that might have hurt your feelings, but like your life and your children's lives and the whole future of your country is on the line. And like, I'm just not even speaking up. Like, I know how much that would mean to them for me to just say something and not stop.
Not saying anything.
I don't know what to say. I think in the beginning, it was really easy for me to know what to say because it was so new to everybody. Like, no one knew, the difference between Palestine and Pakistan at that point. And so I could jump in and be like, hey guys, like, you know how we used to believe that Christopher Columbus was a really cool guy? And then we grew up and we were like, oh my God, they like genocided these people, the animals, and the land. And you were still not being taught that in school. So, like, that's what it is. And I tried to help people like gain perspective. But I think I'm only good for the 101. And I think like keeping up, like I said, with the news and like following the people like Mehdi Hussein or Low Key or whoever that like know how to debate and know how to bring you up to speed and watching all of Bisan's videos and like you have to be in the know at this point to be able to help people continue to shift their perspective, and it's a lot of work. And that's why I don't think it's okay that I'm not speaking up, because it's, even if it's just a little bit of work, I can do it. People listen to me for some fucking reason, and I'm kind of throwing that attention away. And again, even if the only difference I make is that someone in Gaza or in Palestine on the other side of the screen sees that we're talking for them, that's enough.
I think a part of it too is we're not journalists, like by career too. So it's always like hard, like to your point, like hard to you want to keep up with it, making sure you're sending the right information and you're having your full job and you're trying to take on. I think a lot of us with social media, we took on that job of becoming the journalist because there was not enough voices to highlight us. But it's a job. And I think a part of it too, sometimes you just like, what kind of information am I getting? Am I getting the right information? Like it takes time of the day and life happens too. So
Not to mention the video editing. Holy crap. I go crazy with the video editing. So I think that is
yes, I
also
know.
helpful that like it's true. I was taking on the job of like somewhat rookie journalist, and that was never my plan. And then it became a thing that people relied on me for. And I'm like, how did I get here?
At least for me, I think sometimes I'm in kind of denial and I get through those dark thoughts of humanity in general and life and how like I kind of convince myself that this is like human nature
Hmm.
and it has always happened since the beginning of humanity. You've always heard about a bunch of people coming to take someone else's place just because they decided to, or they want power or whatever it is. And it happened literally with every single religion or every single culture, like throughout the history of the world.
Hmm.
So a part of me find myself in those like weird thoughts of like, what is even the purpose of this? And like, why am I so hung up on, I know it's coming from justice and whatnot, but it's just this weird thoughts that I get to that is like it's not that big of a deal, I guess, in my head. because we always keep going through it. And I know that's not right and that's not my belief. It's just I get through those thoughts sometimes. And maybe that's how I convince myself that to push through one other day because sometimes I find myself maybe losing hope with like something could change or not. I don't know. Not the most positive attitude that you want to hear right now.
No, I don't need positive. I need realistic and pragmatic, practical, and maybe empowering or not. Like sometimes it's okay to not know. It's okay, Habibi concept. Like it's okay that I don't know what to do and that I want to do something. And part of trusting the universe is knowing that, like, when the sign is clear, when there's an idea, when there's a spark, I'm going to go after it the way I've gone after all the sparks in my life. Like, I'm going to follow that. And I had a friend say to me once, like, if you don't feel compelled to say something specific, then you don't need to add to the noise. Then just continue to like share, do what you're doing, keep existing. But when you have something specific to say, like nothing's going to stop you from saying it, as we've seen, right? Like, so I think it's okay to leave it at this sucks. This sucks. Because I do also, like you said, yeah.
Do you think I lost hope? Is this why? Like I feel like or maybe I'm just exhausted because I've been like on like I've been extremely stressed for the last year, and I know I'm not trying to compare myself to like what actually people in Pakistan are going through, but it's just been so angry. Do you think that's a part of it? Like we're just like our nervous system are just exhausted, where like I can't even get myself to like start or like know where to start again or whatnot. I don't know.
I do think there's something there towards the end, what you said, start again. And it's like the revving up of the engine. And it was really easy to like start up again in like, let's say October, November, December, because it was just new. It was egregious. We were fired up, right? And then now it's like, yeah, I see it.
It just dawned on
Yeah.
me. I wonder if it's coming from, at least for me, I wonder if for me, I kind of always knew that people in power, they're gonna be in power. I hope and I wish it wouldn't. And I was hoping with speaking up more that I think I don't trust like human rights and UNs and all of the BS that I've been taught my whole life. It's like this lie that kind of was just like, oh, everybody's just so fucked up. Okay. So maybe I kind of got into that reality. I was like, okay, no one is gonna come to save me. Like save us, save them. So maybe I'm just accepting that. And I know I shouldn't, but this is just the reality where I'm at, I think. And I think my fire at the beginning was just speaking up and making a statement that this is fucked up and this is what we're believing and need to make sure that it's like the Armenians and the Turkish genocide. Like I had a lot of friends growing up in Lebanon that went through like the Armenian genocide by Turkey, and Turkey still hasn't fucking admitted to it still up till today. So a lot of Armenian friends have been like screaming for years, my whole life, that actually came to Lebanon as refugees from Armenia to escape being dead. They just every year, like they have the remembrance because they want to make sure that it's a statement like, hey, this happened to us, and they still hasn't admitted. So I wonder, it's just like so that it's a point in the history. And for me, I wonder if it's just I kind of with the seeing how the UN handled it and how the world handled it, I kind of lost hope that someone is actually going to make anything. And I logically in my brain, I see the countries that are in power are not making any change. So who's gonna fucking save us? I'm not saying we don't need to keep fighting or whatnot. I'm just like this is maybe my thought process, and I kind of like use my voice to educate, advocate at first, and now I feel like, listen, the news is out there. Like there's so much fucking material for whoever wants to learn and know that they can go and learn. But like, what else can we do other than like go actually like fight or whatever? Which you know what I mean? So maybe I'm just accepting that. I mean, if I'm being honest, like a part of me in my brain, like where are they like even if we're gonna get to a place where like there is resolution, what are they gonna do with the Israel? What are they gonna do with the Israeli citizens? Like where are they gonna do with the people who has been being born through it this whole time over there. Like they're gonna ship them and like it's just not gonna happen. So even if we get to resolution, the resolution would be either sharing one land or splitting it, but it's not going to happen until Israel admits that what was been done is fucked up, so that the Palestinians start feeling safe that, okay, those people did admit it. And I guess now that they're owning up to it, maybe I can trust that we can now split however we can split so that we can both kind of co-live on this land, or split it and live on two lands or one land, whatever the solution is. I don't see that happening from what I'm hearing. I'm plopping a lot, but this is kind of where I'm at in my head, I think. It's just
I want to get back to the thing about am I losing hope? And I think one thing to recognize is that like our trauma, yours specifically, is super compounded, right? Like you didn't just like grow up in America like me, knowing that the propaganda is so strong and it's annoying, right? Like you grew up in Lebanon, hiding your Palestinian side, hiding your sexual orientation, like hiding every which thing you could fucking hide, not having like, not having any land to claim until getting citizenship, like formally. And that's tiring. That's compounding. That's fucking sucks. You started October 7th burnt out, right? Like you were already burnt out. I think the hopelessness we're feeling right now might come from like our whole lives, us in Arab world, right? Like we knew people had preconceived notions about us that were purposely perpetuated by the media. And we were like, if only they knew what the real story was, then we might be free. And specifically as a Palestinian, constantly hiding or being afraid of that quote unquote political conversation, now the narrative has shifted, at least by like tens of millions of people now understand what's actually happening. And so it was another new disappointment to know that the problem wasn't awareness, because now everybody knows the problem is our world, to your point, the world that has always existed and will exist, which then becomes a very philosophical conversation because it's human nature. So I don't think that you're losing hope. I just think you're disappointed again in humanity.
I think I am, and you brought it a good point that I forgot about, is the way I survived Lebanon is by hiding my Palestinian identity. And I think when I get angry or feel things like are losing out of control, I kind of program myself to just like push it away and like go through life, because that's kind of how I've done my whole life in Lebanon, and now I'm doing it again here, which is not fun, but
And a trauma response.
I'm gonna take 2 minutes therapy
Yeah.
session. That's a very good point. Yes, so I think it's probably it's somewhere playing a part of that
I
there.
don't think it's unique to us, right? It's definitely the immigrant story, right? Like going from country to country, trying to find home, then you like set some roots and you have hopes for your children, and then those are robbed and taken away by like the next administration or the next like powerful people, whoever they are. And it's kind of like we can't stabilize. And so to your point, like my trauma response is like, oh, well, I shouldn't stabilize. I should constantly like be in the fray. And now and you're like, no, Habibti, like you can sit, like it's okay. And I'm like, no, the fuck I can't, because they're not sitting. Anyway, so I do think there's not like a short answer to this. This is what's complicated, like our feelings and how to respond, and really figuring out like how our principles show up and how much of our lives we allow them to occupy, no pun intended. So anyway, I will say, I think we spent a good chunk of time on this, but maybe I can leave us off with a positive note, is that I was in the elevator the other day, and like I'm always playing with the dogs in the elevators, and there was this like adorable dog. And I was like, oh, Habibi, da da da. And then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. It means my love, right? Because I didn't want to freak out the person in the elevator that I'm like now saying, Allahu Akbar. Like, I didn't want her to freak out. She was like, I grew up Jewish. And I was like, okay. And then she said, but Eastern European Jew, not Israeli Jew. I was like, that's okay. Like, but in my head, I was jumping for joy that she made sure to distance herself from Israelis because of what's happening. And I'm like looking at this like white person in Florida in the elevator, and I'm like, she knew enough. She didn't You know what I mean? She knew enough to say that, and that's a big fucking deal. Coming from, again, is Palestine, Pakistan, to, oh, but I'm not associated with these people who are doing really bad. And again, it's not a Jew thing, it's an Israeli thing, it's a Zionist thing, but you get my point. I just have to make that clear because, because.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. And I love that she actually was aware enough to make that she was creating a safe space for you. And I love that.
Yeah.
And she is representing, if she is representing real Jews, because that's what real Judaism is about, you know? I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of Christian people now because they see how like the Trump administration is like using Christianity to hurt other people or what, use it in that sense. And they're like, this is not the Christianity I grew up. This is not me. And they're like really nervous that now when people hear, oh, you're a Christian, like, is it like the Trump Christian or like what kind of Christian?
So at the very least, I think, like, in terms of hope, right, in our lifetime, like, you're right. Like, for the lifetime of humanity, this is going to be what happens. But for our lifetime here, like, what do we want to do? I think what you said is important is that she was creating a safe space. And so, as you mentioned in the beginning, like, maybe the best thing I can do is to exist and to affect my local community and my friends and continue to raise awareness. And so that your friends become people who are in an elevator and say, it's a safe space for you. And I think that's enough because that made my freaking week. I was like, holy shit, never in my
Oh,
life did I think someone would, understand this and understand like who the perpetrators of real violence are. Granted, that last sentence could be debatable forever, but we're not going to debate that. We're going to move on.
love that. So I was gonna wear my White Lotus shirt
Aw, look, we're opposites today.
because well, yes, black and white. Because I know you were watching season one and two. So where are you at with
I
season
finished
two?
season two.
Okay. So I want to hear it all because a lot of listeners at the beginning knew how much I love this show. So new perspective.
I will say, first of all, on a positive note, it was kind of cool because remember how we talked before about how like picking shows to watch with like your boo is like really hard, and then so like this is the first one I think like we watched together. That was like brand new for both of us. So that was a fun experience. I will say that it is definitely the kind of show where you can sit and binge. It moves really slow, and I hated that with a passion. And I did not agree with you about season two being better than season one.
Season one.
And I have so many feelings about the characters in season two. So I don't know where to start,
Okay.
but I will, maybe you go.
So where do I start? So okay, I'll start with something. I just saw a video of Mike White. He's the writer, director, creator of this whole show. A video that people are really upset about season three. Because people said like they like season one, they like season two, and they were expecting more from season three, and like da 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 da. And he was like making a statement. He was like, I am known for being like an indie small TV writer. Everybody likes me, like my work, but like this is my first like big hit with like White Lotus. And he's like, people are just mean. Like people are just like having like a lot of opinions about how I built my characters and how I do this and how I do that. And he's like, but this is the story that came out of my mind. Like, this is what I wanted to put out there. Like, you don't like it, you just don't like it. But these are just characters that he's building up and putting it out there. For me, what I love is how much we spend time with each character to get to know
Mm,
them. And each character is not, you don't have one main character in the show. You have you know how like usually there's like the main and then like the second,
warning.
you know the terminology better than me, whatever they're calling
Subordinate.
them. There is no that in this show. Yeah. And do you know that in this show they all get paid the same?
Mm-hmm. But you tell that story for people who don't know it. I think that you sent me a link about
Yes.
it, so I know
Oh,
because of you.
yes. So White Lotus is the first show that every single actor that is casted on the show gets paid $40,000 per episode, regardless if you this is your first ever acting role or if you have 50 years of experience in acting. They all get paid the same. They build them alphabetical order. I just love how if you're in that show, if you are being casted to do this show, you know what you're signing up into. It's not about oh, I'm gonna get Roberts and that's why you're gonna watch that show. You know what I mean? So Mike White believes so much in what he's creating, and he called it in one of the other videos that people were
No, teach me.
like a similarity of that. He's like, this is what I'm trying to do. Like people are saying it's so slow or by bother. It's like I am just edging you. If you don't fucking like edging, get the fuck out of my bed. Like that is not why you're here for. It's like that's what I'm trying to do. Is like I'm building those characters and I need you to stay hyper the whole time of like, oh my God, who is it? What's gonna happen? Because he starts the show every season with someone died. So anyway, for me, it's like such a like an art piece all in all. I really enjoy it. I don't hyper focus on the details. Like a lot of people I saw online, like, I don't like this detail. Why did the police don't show up here? Why did this that like that's not the point. The point for me is he is so not like he goes in all the topics that are taboo that you don't see in like other shows or movies, and like the characters are so interesting and they get twisted where like you might like someone at the beginning and then now you see their dark side down the road, or like a couple looking like so nice and then it's like oh they're way fucked up that I thought, and the couple that was so fucked up you're like actually they made it through, like this is how they kind of handle it, and that's it's just crazy how it just gives you so many different perspective about what even how you judge people from like first scene to like episode 8 or 9 down the road. That's my thought.
Okay, going to the beginning, I think that whole 40,000 per person sounds super fair and transparent. I am all about pay transparency regardless of the industry, regardless of anything, right? Just to try and like transparency to me is like a much safer world to live in. And I think it sucks because Hollywood is just going to find another way to like underpay people. So, although I do think it's great, like if it's your first series regular and you're getting $40,000 an episode, just like freaking, Julia, that's amazing for you. But like if it's Viola Davis or Julia Roberts or whatever, and they really earned a higher caliber of pay, and they do bring a lot more viewers to the table, then they should be paid more. And so what White Lotus is setting up is a great transparency system where everybody just gets like equal pay, but they are creating this like possible disruptor that will not be good for the actor's ability to make bank later. And I think it's only going to benefit the network.
That's actually a very good point because I'm pretty sure they're making a lot of money out of the show. 40,000. I mean, I don't know if that's a lot of money or not a lot. Maybe it's not.
40,000 is really good for a series regular. It's good. However, like think about in Euphoria, right? Zendaya is such a big name. She's now making $1 million per episodes. Friends got to such a big deal that they like, the cast worked together and agreed that they were all going to get $1 million per episode for like season 9 and 10 or something, and they did that. So we're talking the scope here is from, let's say 20,000 per episode to $1 million per episode for the people who are setting records. So now Zendaya, someone like her who has earned her stripes, who does bring viewership as an example of someone who's going to bring their fans, for her to get 40,000, I don't think is really fair because she's bringing the heat, like she's bringing the noise with her. So I do think the network gets to save.
I do get that point, but at the same time, then maybe that's not the show for her.
But I'm worried. That's what I'm saying is I'm worried that
Because she knows what she's signing up for. What I like about this transparency is that you just don't cast, just don't apply for it. You know what I mean? If you know like this is not what you want, if money is important for you, you're not on White Lotus.
okay, my concern is not for niche projects like White Lotus, right? Because a lot of times a mega superstar will take a small indie project that probably pays like ultra low budget because they believe in the work. And I think that's important too, right? It's like, it's not just about the money at all. But when many other shows start to pick up and do the same thing, then that becomes the standard. And if it's the standard, that's when you're looking at like a scalable model, then the network is going to clean up house and the actors will already struggle, right? Because they get that one job and then they don't get another job for a while unless you're Zendaya. And so they need it to actually be fair. So what I would propose is if it starts to scale this way, like if White Lotus is the first of many, then what I would propose is a model that the royalties get um like a higher percentage. Like you get a higher percentage of royalties because the show shouldn't make billions and the actors made like, 40K per episode, right? That was the problem with shows like Euphoria and Friends. It's like y'all are making a lot more money than the people that are actually like, the faces of the show. So either royalties could be increased or like some sort of back pay later where if the show makes X amount, then all of the actors get like this big bonus or something. But I'm just saying a system needs to be created if this is to become the standard.
Yeah, I agree with you, but the more I'm thinking about it too, is I think this would only like that type of system would only work for something like White Lotus or Friends or whatnot, where all the characters are like on equal level. There's
Ensemble.
not many like there's not a story where like a main character and the others are just, supporting roles. So I think it only works that way. What I do like about this though, that usually in this type of format, what I've seen in the past is that women tend to get paid less than men, even though they can be both main characters. So at least this is, bridging that gap of pay equality for women in that sense, that it doesn't matter. You're all going to get paid the same amount. Now, when it comes to shows or movies, that is, you have like a main character and then like, you have supporting characters, then I don't know if that could work that way. But what I would like at least is the transparency. It doesn't have to be equal, but maybe that could be used as, let's say, Wicked, the two main characters, whoever is going to be casted for, it's going to be, I don't know, $20 million. And they're going to be equally paid $20 million,
I was
period.
actually
Like whatever
I was
that
actually
is.
going to bring up exactly Wicked. I think I saw online that Ariana was saying that she's not going to agree to her contract until she sees that the person who played Alphaba is also getting the same or something like that. Like they had unity between.
Cynthia.
So I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool if that's true.
Yeah. And that's how it should be, because like you both are the main character. I know Ariana is bringing a fan base, but that's not why she was casted. She was casted like the goal is for that show and that story to make it to life. I know you're probably thinking, well, it could have been the case why it was casted,
She's also an
but
amazing
that shouldn't
singer,
be the
right?
case.
Like, she's been an actor her
Yes,
whole life. She
yes.
clearly paid her dues. Like she's an actor, a singer, and she was good in the role. So it's not like it's just because she's a pop star. Like, nah, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, you're in the field more than
Mhm.
me. This is just an outside perspective, so I agree with whatever you say. No, because honestly, like I don't know fully, like I don't even know how much each person should be getting. Like I don't even like if someone tells me like you want to come act in this, I'm like I don't even know what would you pay me. Like what would it look like? What I do know is that there's this gap between the pay between women and men actors, and I do like how like White Lotus was able to bridge that gap. And
I think you make a good
I
point.
do see like the experience part, that if you have like more experienced actors, that it's kind of like not fair that someone like it's like any job. Like if I have so much experience and I've been doing this for 20 years versus someone who's just graduated, is it kind of fair that we both are getting paid the same, but you're still accepted that job? So I don't know.
I think you're right. Like if it's a passion project and it's an ensemble cast kind of thing, then right now it's a niche situation. I always think about what's going to happen when people start to copy this and how will it affect, actors. So for now, yes, if you like the project, take the project. Everybody's getting paid 40K. Sit down, shut up, do your job.
Let's dive into the story. What was your opinion on both seasons' story in general?
In general, season one, I mean, so I heard before they started that like season 1 was all about money dynamics, and how that affects relationships, and then the second one was just about relationship dynamics. So watching from
Love and sex.
love and sex. Ooh, yeah. So standout from season 1, I think is the two girls, like their friendship was the most interesting to me for many reasons. And then for season 2, I was left with a feeling of like the couple Daphne and Cameron. It's kind of how you said like this couple's such a mess, and then by the end you're like, well, they seem to be doing just fucking fine. And so I'm like, they're in an open relationship without saying they're in an open relationship, and like it brought up feelings for me of like how do ethics play into relationships, and like what is the most important to like keep the peace and longevity, or to be as like supposedly honest as Harper and Ethan were, but they wanted to fucking kill each other. So I really enjoyed watching the dynamics of those who apparently became swingers by the end. Spoiler alert, post alert. But like, yeah, those are the standout relationships, and my mind is still processing and grappling with what that is. What about you?
I don't think, at least when I watch it, I don't watch it expecting to learn anything out of it. What I do like to see is stories about how other couples are living life that is different than my life, and it's just a different type of life. I don't really spend much time like agreeing or disagreeing with it or whatnot, but it's kind of like really interesting to me. It helps me now when I see other couples, let's say they are that, oh my God, everything is perfect. Like a part of me is like, is it? I wonder. Or if like they're like, no, we're about like human rights and da 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 da, but like I was like deep inside, it, not that it matters, but it's kind of like it gives you a different perspective of like dynamics and like how people could be beyond what you
Just
see
like social media.
as we put as a facade.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Including couples on social. It's like,
Yeah.
but I like that you said that. I think that there's another difference between you and I that I'm noticing is like one episode we talked about, we were talking about again like Gaza, and I was thinking of like the like macro impact, the systemic impact. And you were like, what are they going to go home to? Like, what is that one person going to go home to? So our perspectives, we jump in from completely different like gateways. And so I'm noticing even with White Lotus, right? Like I had a hard time not jumping into the perspective of that person, and like who do I identify with? Who do I not identify with? Well, why don't I? What could I do to identify with them? What might their perspective look like? And so like I try to jump into each character and say, what would I do if that were me? Or could I understand their feelings if that were me? Whereas you're like, that's an interesting story. And like you kind of just watch from a distance and you just observe. Do you see that? Or am I misunderstanding how you
I do. No, you nailed it. I bet you if we were both watching Survivor, we would be like flipping seats on that, because I hear a lot of people like watching Survivor. They're just watching the story and who is gonna win at the end, and that's the story that was given to me. And for me, every single move that every player is making, I put myself in their shoes and I'm like, why did you not go talk to that person? Why did you not form this alliance with that person? Why did you like sleep when everybody was just talking over there? Like I'd like put myself in the shoes of everyone. It's
Oh,
just strategically I'm there.
but that's because you want to
But
be
with
on
those type of
Survivor.
shows,
You're like planning like what you would do.
maybe, yes, yes. But with those, I actually watch it more for my own like FYIs. Like okay, there's this kind of person out there. That's interesting. Noted. Keep in mind. There's a monologue in actually season 3 that is so interesting.
White Lotus? Okay.
Yes, yes, that was like going so viral. People was like, what is going on? But again, yeah, there's two major things that happens in season 3.
I just started.
Once you get
Yeah.
there. So yeah, we could talk about it once you're done with it. But it's similar. That's again why I love this show, because it these are things that I don't get exposure to in my day-to-day life. I don't have wealthy people in my life. I don't know what it feels like to be wealthy. but they're showing you another side of it. It's like they're literally going through the same thing. Like the first season, like that couple, like they were not having sex, and then like the what she wanted is different. She's the one who's running the house. She has money. He was having the insecurity because he was like feeling threatened by her. Um, like even like the bracelet, like he bought her a bracelet because he just cheated on her or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like that dynamic is just like so weird. But where do I get exposure to that? I never do. Or even the rich friend, because you could see it a lot now where you see, someone who has maybe more money that is bringing someone with them on a trip, but now that gave me a perspective. Let's say if I am fortunate enough where like I can invite someone to go on a trip with me, I need to be extremely cautious because I don't want to be that person because the other person might be feeling what that girl was feeling. Forgot what the name of the character was. Like feeling, you know what I'm talking about in that first season with the rich and poor and whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, I just watch
Think
it
we could
at a
do a
different
whole
perspective.
episode on like season one and two characters' motivations and intentions because each dynamic, like you said, like they spend a lot of time. Like most shows will like episode one is about building the world, and then two, three, four, they go on to do the action. Whereas this builds the world for like 3 episodes at minimum, and then there's like action, action, action. But it's like a lot of world
Mm-hmm.
building. It's
Mm-hmm. One of the things once you finish watching season three that I want to talk about is from season one when Tanya at the end that she was wanting to help the that girl to open the spa, and she ended up saying, "I find myself like going back in those habits where like I what is it? I don't forget
like
what
it
she
makes
said,
it
but basically like
transactional. She like starts to just like pay them to be
yeah."
around her.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I want to stop doing that and I don't want to do it.
Yes, she was
Let's
inviting
talk
old
again
boy.
about this after season.
No, no, yeah, I know. Yeah, and
Exactly.
like it was already clear in that moment that she was just taking the funds she was about to give what's her face and like put them all towards Greg. And she was like, I'll get a house in
Hmm.
Aspen if that's what's gonna get me closer to you. And I'm like, bitch, you could have given her that house in Aspen. I will say, without spoiler alerting, I am not happy with Tanya's story. She annoyed the hell out of me, but I really wasn't happy with that. I was like, wow, that didn't leave a good taste in my mouth.
So that was a big one when that season aired last year, and everybody was just having fun because everybody loves her. That's why I have that shirt that says "Legends Never Die" because I love Tanya. Yes, but after the show, Mike White said that when he met Jennifer Coolidge before filming, he created the character based on her character in real life, who she is in real life. He met her, she inspired the role of Tanya to him, and that is why when he wanted to kill her in season two, he said he had this like epiphany or whatever it's called. Yes, that how would Tanya die? He's like he's just so like nonchalant about life. Like her death would be just something so stupid. Like it wouldn't even be something worth it. Like, and that is what he's like. I wanted her, like he wanted her to like go out with the fight, kill all those people, like go with the revenge, and then like poof, trips and dies. Like he's like that is so Tanya. Like this is exactly how she would die. So I kind of like that doesn't he doesn't write the story for the show for the viewers. He writes it for himself.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's a word. Yeah, I get that. I get that. And I do see like, yeah, that is like, I can imagine like even me, like if I were to go out some dumb way like that, my family would kind of find solace in like laughing about like, yeah, it's Emma. Like, yeah, this is expected. This is
Yeah.
how she would go out. So I guess that makes sense. And, my guy said something like that too. I think he said it like, I like that this show doesn't like focus on like super happy endings. Like it just is what it is. Um
Yeah.
and I thought that's true. Like even when you look at what happened with Kai, it just is what it is. Obviously, he was gonna be the one to suffer and all these like rich people just get to go on.
And that's it's life. And it's sad,
Right. Is
but
gonna win up
isn't
that
this life?
prenup to the point of prenup. Like Greg won. And I'm like, that slimy mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. You were saying that is life.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, this is exactly what it is. I always crave not happy endings in shows and movies, not because I want like bad ending. I know people escape real life to movies for happy ending because they don't have that in their real life. But my analytical brain, sometimes it doesn't make sense to it, where like when I see something like this, I'm like, that makes sense. Another fucked up thing in life, and here it is. It's like what's happening in Palestine. So at least you're not fucking lying to me. I get it.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Do you see
Yeah.
how pretty it got? I like that we were on time today because I got to keep the same lighting the whole
I
time, and now it's like this beautiful purple behind me. Alhamdulillah.
Yesterday was this is the first day yesterday that I noticed that is like what PM and then the sun is not fully down yet, where usually it's like really dark by like 7 or something. So it's pretty nice. All right, we're on time.
We're on time.
We
We
did
did
it.
it.
Episode 11. We're talking again next week. I'm gonna be in Egypt.
We'll pick the time.
We'll pick at the time and we'll record it, but I am committed to it
Inshallah.
and I can't wait to just like not be here and be talking to you from somewhere else. So
Somewhere else
that's
on planet
exciting.
Earth. Let's make sure we're very specific that you're gonna be
Yes,
here on planet Earth.
yes.
But even if you died, you'd be like, all right, bye. Checking out.
Like Tanya. Well, that's life. The UN is not fucking doing anything anyway, so might
Might
as
as
well
well.
just go.
But all right, I'll talk to you one way or another next week.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please consider leaving a comment and a review. It helps us improve and reach more people.
We're all just trying to figure it out one conversation at a time. So go easy on yourself, trust the process, and remember, it's okay, Habibi.